Frighten a crow today, and it will remember your face for years. Eventually, unhatched crows will know exactly who you are. Labeling this a grudge projects human resentment onto an animal. This behavior is a highly calibrated neurological survival mechanism, an evolutionary tool used to navigate spaces heavily dominated by humans. The exact mechanics of this response were mapped out here at the University of Washington. Stripping away the myth of human emotion reveals an intelligence that is structured, reactive, and highly specialized. Researchers began by mapping the baseline response, safely capturing and banding wild crows to establish individual profiles. They introduced a specific variable, a highly distinct rubber mask worn only during the trapping and banding process. The trapped birds formed a distinct memory of that face, greeting anyone who wore the mask afterward with aggressive, harsh scolding calls. This direct memory proved incredibly durable, remaining intact for at least 2.5 years after a single encounter. But the data over 5 years revealed an anomaly. The number of crows scolding doubled, and the reaction zone expanded across a 1.2-kilometer radius. Hundreds of birds, far outside the original trapping sites, were reacting to a face they had never seen before. Direct experience alone cannot account for this surge. The crows are actively transmitting targeted threat data across their population. Information moves through the flock via 2 pathways. The first is horizontal learning, peer-to-peer communication among adult birds. When a crow spots the mask, its scolding calls attract a mob. Naive crows fly in, observe the target, and physically link the specific human face to the alarm. This chart tracks lone, naive crows. It shows how birds that were never trapped acquired knowledge of the dangerous face only after exposure to mobs. Tracing encounters down the timeline reveals a chronological infection rate. Knowledge traveled along routes as mobs formed and dispersed. The second transmission pathway guarantees the data survives the current generation. Vertical learning. Fledglings still in the nest observe their parents aggressively scolding the mask. Without ever facing the threat themselves, the young birds inherit the specific facial recognition profile. These dual transmission methods ensure a single negative interaction with one human creates a multi-generational culture of targeted fear. This capacity for information gathering extends beyond direct attacks. Crows are known to gather quietly around deceased flock members. Researchers tested this by introducing a neutral human standing near either a dead crow or a predatory hawk. The birds treated the area as an active crime scene, analyzing the surroundings to deduce the presence of novel predators. When the deceased flock member was replaced with a dead pigeon, the analytical response failed to trigger. It is a reaction strictly reserved for their own kind. The data proves the sensitivity of this associative learning. Crows will analyze a neutral human simply standing near a deceased bird, memorize their face after a single exposure, and continue scolding them for up to 6 weeks. By analyzing the context of a death, crows proactively identify and memorize humans who appear complicit in the event. Relying on concepts like grief or revenge undercuts the brilliance of this rapid, high-stakes data collection. This research maps the modern city as an invisible, shared cognitive landscape. Above the streets, these birds are continuously cataloging human identities, tracking our daily habits, and evaluating our individual threat levels. In the urban landscape, the humans are the subjects of constant observation. To a crow, every single person is a permanently recorded data point in a generational study of urban survival.